Welcome back to another 1,000 Pound Sisters recap. Let's talk about season 7, episode 7. I did skip episode 6 because I felt like it was kind of a nothing burger. Not much happened. It was just a lot of filler, but a lot of stuff happened in episode 7. It was a great episode and I cannot wait to talk about it. So without further ado, let's get into the recap. So remember how Amy and Brian got arrested? Well, it was finally their court date, so Amy's lawyer offered a plea deal. So what ended up happening was Amy pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor drug charge, and the judge accepted, which meant that she wasn't going to go to jail. But she would be on probation for 2 years, she'll pay some fines, and she would be required to attend some drug and child care classes.
By the grace of God, the judge done granted our plea deal at the end of the day. I'm like 100% relieved that we won't be going to jail. I'm on probation for 2 years. I gotta pay some fines, take a drug and alcohol assessment, and take some parenting classes.
Chris made a joke about Amy's mugshot. He is so freaking funny. He said that he was going to put up Amy's mugshot in his garden to scare all the creatures away.
Amy's mugshot alone should keep her the hell away. She looked like a hot damn mess. We hang that up in the garden out back to keep the bugs away.
Now that Amy's a free woman and she doesn't have to worry about whether or not she's going to go to jail, she can officially start wedding planning and also plan for her skin removal surgery. But Chris is thinking to himself, like, what are you talking about? You are nowhere near skin removal surgery, because recently Amy has gained a bunch of weight, enough weight to the point where Tammy and Chris have both gotten smaller than her. And a quick reminder, they were both way bigger than Amy. So he kind of reminds her, like, you got to focus on your diet. Now that court's over and your divorce is over, you have to focus on your weight loss again. Well, Amy doesn't like that. She's so annoyed. She feels like she's being lectured again. She doesn't want to be treated like a baby anymore. But Chris doesn't lecture just Amy. He also lectures Brian too and tells him to hold Amy accountable.
Time to put your big girl panties on and quit giving excuses for everything, because everything come out your mouth is an excuse. And if Brian, I'm going to get on your ass too, because she can't stay on goddamn task if you bringing in the bullshit she ain't supposed to have.
If she's on a diet, then he should be on that same diet to support her. And I kind of agree. The way I think about it is, if your partner is struggling with a food addiction and they want to improve, I feel like as a partner, it would be so incredibly helpful to be supportive and to be on that similar journey with them. Even though obviously Brian has no weight to lose, but like if he were to just keep healthy food and to exercise with her, that would be a huge motivator for Amy. And even though it sucks for Brian, like he doesn't want to live that lifestyle, I feel like when you love someone, you make some sacrifices and adjustments to your life so that you can support your partner. I live with my sister right now and she is on a sober journey, and I actually came to live here in DC to support my sister in her sober journey because she really, really needed help. And because I work from home, I don't need to be in Connecticut. But yeah, my sister really needed help, and I was like, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that she is supported. So I came here, I do what I can to help her. When we first moved into this apartment, I got a bottle of champagne as like a housewarming gift, and I gave it to my neighbor because I was not going to keep that in my apartment. So I was just very set on doing whatever I could to help my sister. And it's because I freaking love her. She is doing so well. She is 8 months sober. And even though she is 8 months sober, she still has triggers. She still has those thoughts where it's like, oh, I wish I could just have like one drink. And it's scary. It's scary. I don't know if that feeling will ever go away, but this is why it is so important. If someone is trying to cut out an addiction or become sober, like they really need a strong support system. I'm not a huge drinker, but I absolutely will not drink inside the apartment. I will not keep any type of alcohol inside the apartment. If I go out and my friend is having drinks and then I decide to have a drink, I will make sure I am absolutely completely sober before I come home. But honestly, because it's the first year, I just don't drink. I don't drink, period. I don't go around bars. I mean, let's be real, I don't go out much anyway, but I'm saying like I purposely would not go out to bars because I don't want to smell of alcohol. I just do not want to trigger her in any way. I don't know, maybe I'm extreme, but it is very important to me that I support my sister and get her on the right path and keep her on the right path. Another example I can think of is, I don't know if anybody has watched my 600 Pound Life, But when you watch it and the morbidly obese person is going on a diet and the other partner doesn't want to go on that same diet with them, and they eat the regular fast food, the junk food, all the trigger foods that the obese person loves and is addicted to, the partner eats right in front of them. And I think that is so rude, and it makes it 100 million times harder for that person who is trying to cut those foods out. Anyway, Tammy is finally getting her skin removal surgery, so the siblings all get together one last time for dinner, and they're at some kind of French restaurant, I think, because Amy starts giving us French lessons. For example, bonjour. Tammy is nervous about her skin removal surgery. Now, of course, she's excited to get rid of all her hanging skin, but she's also afraid of the pain, and she doesn't know if she's going to recognize herself or even like herself. She gets very emotional talking about it. And every time Tammy gets vulnerable and emotional, I get emotional because remember, for so long, she could never, ever be vulnerable. She never wanted to talk about her feelings. She just lashed out in anger instead. And for her to just be vulnerable and open up and like be okay to tear up and cry, that is so much growth. Amy tells him that she wants to go see Dr. Smith too and get checked up and make sure that she gets back on track so that she can fit into a wedding dress. And everyone is silent. It's so awkward.
Here in a couple weeks, I'm going to go down and see Dr. Smith, see where I'm at, see where I need to be, get all my vitals and all that checked out. I got a wedding dress to fit into.
Tammy then breaks the awkward silence and she tells Amy that she's proud of her for getting back on her diet and that they started their journey together and it's not a competition and they're still gonna be on that journey together. Again, Tammy is so sweet. But then Tammy says something that triggers Amy and makes her spiral. And she tells her, if I'm being honest, I feel like sometimes you're upset or jealous that I'm now smaller than you. And Amy gets so offended. She's emotional. She's like, I'm not even going to respond to that. And in her confessional, she feels like Tammy is projecting how she thinks Amy should feel. I think Amy is happy for Tammy, but she's not happy with herself right now.
Don't tell me how I feel, bitch. You don't know how the I feel. I'm proud of you for being skinnier than me. She's projecting how I should feel. That's bullshit. Yes.
And when someone is not happy with themselves, they're not happy overall. Like, I've been there. When I was so lost in my career path, when I was so down in the dumps with my self-esteem, and I felt so purposeless, and I just didn't know what to do with myself or my life. When my friends around me were getting their dream jobs, they were getting promotions, they were getting engaged, it was so hard for me. Like, I was really happy for them because they're so happy, but at the same time, I wasn't. Because deep down, misery loves company, right? I really wanted to be happy for them, but I just couldn't. I couldn't. Tammy takes a moment to apologize to everyone for everything she put them through. And she lets every one of her siblings know that she is so grateful that they stuck by her, that they helped her, and pretty much for everything that they did. And I thought that was so damn beautiful.
I do want to thank all of y'all because you have always been in my corner, backing me up and been there for me. And I apologize for that. And I do thank y'all for, no matter what, being there. It's important.
Remember how everyone was saying Tammy is so ungrateful? Her family does so much for her and she's just so unappreciative and ungrateful. But no, she was grateful this whole time. I truly believe that. I think she was just embarrassed and she was ashamed that she couldn't express her gratitude. And now she has the chance to genuinely do that, and it was just beautiful. The next morning, Chris, Amy, and Tammy head to the airport. It's the day before surgery, so they go to the doctor's office. Tammy weighs in, and she's almost 200 pounds, which means after her skin removal surgery, she is going to be under 200 pounds. She is so shocked. She's looking at the scale. She's like, is this a lie? Like, is your scale okay? She can't remember the last time she was under 200 pounds. It was in elementary school. We learned that the doctors are going to remove the skin on her chin, her neck, her arms, and her belly, and that it's going to take over 7 hours. And she's going to have a team of 12 doctors or medical people working on her at the same time.
So Tammy, our plan for tomorrow in the operating room is to work on the skin on your chin and neck and the lower part of the belly. We have a good 7 hours blocked for the procedure.
Now it's the morning of surgery. Tammy is so nervous. Amanda walks into her hotel room, and as soon as Tammy sees Amanda, her big sister, she hugs her and she cries. Amanda, Amy, and Chris are in the waiting room while Tammy does her pre-op. Then Amanda and Amy start bickering because Amy was falling asleep and Amanda was like, oh my God, you really need to wear a CPAP so that you can fix your sleep apnea. That's why you're always tired, because you're not getting enough good sleep. Amy gets really annoyed because once again, she feels like everybody's judging her and everybody's complaining about her and nagging. And even though Amy is so annoying because she's constantly being offended and crying, I also feel for her, because when somebody is constantly criticizing you or is constantly having something to say about you, it gets annoying. Then they meet with Tammy one last time before surgery and they share a prayer together.
Lord God, we thank you for this day. I know that we never thought we would make it, but here we are. I thank you, Lord, for guiding these doctors' hands, and you protected my sister from the crown of her head to the soles of her feet.
There's a lot of surgery scenes in this episode. I was actually shocked with how much they showed. I had to put my eyes down, okay? I was trying to avoid the TV screen, but every time I looked up, Tammy was opened, okay? And I was like, oh my God, please. Why couldn't they blur it? Why? I was just like, no. There was a part where I looked up and her face was cut open. While Tammy's in surgery, Chris and Amanda are bickering. They were clearly so stressed because they were snapping at each other. They were cranky. Amanda's trying to crack jokes, but Chris is in no mood for jokes. So tensions are very high. They clearly deal with stress very differently. Amanda's a jokester and Chris he can't handle the jokes. He just wants everything to be okay. Chris finally gets a call that Tammy's surgery is about to be over, thank God. While Chris is on the phone, Amy farts and Amanda smells it and she's like, oh my God, your fart smells so bad. And then Amy gets upset again and she cries and walks out. So Amanda complains to Chris and Chris walks out to check up on Amy to see why she's so upset and so sensitive. And she's like, you guys always criticize me, always complain about me. And then he finds out that she's upset that nobody wants to go to her wedding.
That's what this is all about. This is not the time or place for Amy to be worried about her wedding venue or who is going to be there.
I guess Tammy had told her if she keeps it at the sanatorium that no one's going to go, so that she should cancel it. And so Amy reluctantly canceled it and she's so upset about it. Chris is like, oh my God, we support you and Brian getting married. We love this for you. We're happy for you and your relationship. We just do not want to go to the sanatorium because it's against their beliefs. Amy's like, but I went against my beliefs and attended to all your weddings at a church. And quite frankly, she does not care where they get married. She's going to show up and support them. But no one wants to do that for her, and she's very hurt.
When you got married, I would have done it every way that you wanted to, no matter where the you wanted to. You could get married in a Sahara desert, and I'd be there. You could get married in what's that tower in France that's got the popes?
Damn, I want to know your opinions, because I feel for both sides. But ultimately, I think Amy should get married where she wants to get married. It is her wedding. But at the same time, she has to understand that if it is at a certain place that goes against other people's beliefs and they don't attend, then she has to understand that. Well, that's it for the recap. I think the next episode might be the finale. I'm not sure, but we get to see Tammy after surgery and her final results. And I think that's going to be a wrap for season 7. I know there's a new show called 1,000 Pound Best Friends. Or no, not 1,000 Pound Best Friends, 1,000 Pound Roomies. And I saw a preview of it and they look like such fun girls, but I don't think I'm going to cover it. I hope they get renewed for another season. And for season 8, I would really like to see Amy succeed. And I also want to see what she ends up doing for her wedding, if she does do it at a sanatorium. And I also want to see Brian's house after it's like organized and cleaned up and baby proofed. And that's it for the recap. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.
It's a recap. It's a recap.